do that. But yeah, it's been an interesting day. Welcome on my live stream. I'm so excited to be here. I can't wait to go on your live stream also. And I was actually just listening to a 1-minute recording that I had, like, you know, sometimes you hear other people's writings or readings and you like record it for yourself, whether it's an audio recording or not, just like, you know, so you have it. It was one of the things, and I think you'd find it interesting. And it has the intro to my podcast on it also. So I'm going to play 1 minute and 29 seconds. Does that sound good to you?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I think you'll like it. We got Usama on and a couple other people joining on Instagram. So hello, everybody joining in.
Okay.
Now, introducing our special guest, Karina Brown.
And the naughty chef.
It's really unbelievably worth it because it opens your eyes to the domain of the transcendent. That's the right way of thinking about it. A real piece of art is a window into the transcendent. That's what it is. And the emphasis of the supply, you can see it's integral to our culture, the idea that beauty is one pathway toward God. It said, if you can't find another pathway, just use beauty. Most of you do it with beauty. Most of you do it with music. Music is the one thing people can't be cynical about, and thank God for that. We need to understand the role of art and literature and stop thinking about it as an option. It's not an option. It's not an option. What does it say? Man does not live by bread alone. That's exactly right. We live by beauty. We live by beauty. We live by literature. We live by art. We literally, not metaphorically.
And that's that. I just thought you'd think that that's interesting, being a literature queen that you are.
Oh, please, no ways. I really agree with what you said, because it's like, I think Neil deGrasse Tyson said it best, which is STEM movement gained the steam it needed to propel civilization forward the moment the arts joined the mix. And I was like,
that is so cool. Who did you say said that? I haven't heard that before.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh, I love him. Neil deGrasse Tyson is like, he's my baby daddy. I don't care. Like, I love him so much.
He is so, like, his ability to take these very complicated things and make them sound interesting is writing goals.
And that's what passion does, I think. We got Usama on Instagram and on
Hi, Usama.
Him.
He's so nice. Okay, he's so nice. I really like Neil deGrasse Tyson as well as Usama. They're both so nice.
Yes, I agree with that. And Neil deGrasse Tyson had a really interesting episode with, have you ever heard of Joe Rogan?
Of course I have.
Yes, right, everyone knows Joe Rogan.
My friend Michael Yo.
Funny anecdote, I once followed Joe Rogan. I like drunkenly stumbled into a basement that he was in at the Comedy Store in LA last October. I just like my boyfriend and I had gone to a show and we were like sitting in the back, and we were there really because he was obsessed with Joe Rogan. I mean, obviously I like Joe Rogan and have a very good appreciation for him, but yeah, we were at the show and everyone cleared out, and I was waiting in the showroom still, and my boyfriend like ran to the bathroom and we were gonna catch a cab and like go to the next thing. And I was just sitting there, and then like 5 or 7 minutes after everyone was gone and people were like cleaning up the floor and stuff, Joe Rogan just walks back on stage and off stage and over there, and I was just like, I just picked up my purse and picked up my jacket and was like, yes, follow him. And so I did. And I just started, I was like, where did he go? And then I had seen him go up a flight of stairs, and I was like, I'm going up this flight of stairs. And there was another show going on. And then I was like, well, he definitely didn't like stay in here. Where did he go? And so my like female intuition or something, just like my pheromones just like guided me. I have no idea. And I just like saw a flight of stairs, went down them, walked in the basement, and there's Joe Rogan standing with like two people in the middle of a conversation. He kind of looks over at me like what are you doing?
What's up with you, lady?
And then I realized in the moment, like, I'm not going to interrupt his conversation. Like, I'm not more important than what he's talking about right now. And then as soon as I was there, just like having this like slightly tipsy like debate with myself, the waitress was like, "You can't be in here." Like, and then I was just like, could I say hi? And she's like, "No." And I was like, okay. But yeah, so I didn't have a conversation with him, but I was standing next to him, and I feel like if I end up having a conversation with him at any point in my life, telling him that, he probably would respect me just because I like didn't invade his space just for the sake that I was there, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird, like you thought in moments like that, not that I've had too many of them, but like I just realized so clearly, like, he is a person and I respect him, and I'm not going to shove my phone in his face, and I'm not going to, you know, be like demanding of his attention, you know. But that's just like a funny little anecdote on the side.
Something similar happened, like, of course, not Joe Rogan, but there's an Indian singer called Parthiv Gohil. He's pretty melodious and stuff like that. And when he had come over to my town, I was a fan. So I went into the guest house because apparently the people there were like, "Go fetch him." So when I went to fetch him, and he was pleasantly shocked by the fact that I didn't ask to take photos with him. I didn't ask for his autographs, and like while walking, he's like, "Are you a fan?" I'm like, "Of course, I love." And back then, Savaria was a song that he had sang, pretty amazing. It's like I listen to it almost every day. And he's like, "But you didn't react that way." And I was like, "Yeah, because you are a normal human being." And then he was like, "Oh my God, thank you."
Exactly. Thank you.
And then he posed. He actually said, "I'd love to take a photo with you." He posed with me and my mom. So I was like, "Oh, there you go. There's the reverse Uno card."
Wow. And that's something that especially your mom probably is like.
Oh yeah, she still has that photo.
Exactly.
Oh, Parthiv Gohil, because my mom's a singer. So for her, it's like an extra added layer out there. Like I have a photo with a popular singer, which is so happy. And I was really grateful to the guy.
Is she a songwriter too? Like, did she ever
No,
write?
No, she doesn't. She doesn't write songs.
She's
She's more of a folk singer. So she sings Gujarati garbas. Then she sings Indian weddings, especially Indian Hindu weddings. They have layers. Like it's a big thing. It's a big function. And all of these functions, they are accompanied by traditional music. So my mother provides that for Greh Shanti, which is like give peace to the planets before you begin the I know you do, because I think you are into astrology and planet alignment and all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just get that vibe from the post. So yeah, she does that. Then she'll sing for marriage functions. Again, we have this thing called sapadi, or they'll take the roundy rounds around the fire. So all of this, when this is happening, there are like traditional shloka type songs. So she sings those.
Wow, I love that. That's so sweet. That's so cute that she was able to have that story too, and that's interesting. So has she always, like, were you raised with her being a singer, or is it something that she did like later in life?
My late maternal grandmother comes from a line of musicians. So my maternal grandfather married her because he heard her father play at MS University's music pavilion. And he found out that this guy is from the same village as my grandpa and has a daughter who's about that age. So years and years ago, when people were struggling through all sorts of things, my grandpa kind of started a little love story with my grandma.
Oh my God.
Just because of the music thing. And thankfully for Grandpa, he responded with equal fervor. And yeah, there were no problems because literally they were from the same village. And lo and behold, a musical family was born,
That is
and the legacy continues. So even I am trained in Indian classical music. Even if I don't sound to be something of a singer, I do have some history of singing stuff.
No, I think you have a beautiful talking voice. I'm sure you have a beautiful singing voice too. Oh, so cute. That was adorable. Oh, that was so cute. Oh, looks like Teresa needs some writing inspiration. So I'm sure that something that you have to say or I have to say could help with that. And thank you. That's so sweet. So sweet. I love meeting new people. This is such an amazing experience. Every single day I'm amazed by what the connection that LinkedIn makes possible. I thought your joke about artists crying in the corner and joining TikTok for the organic reach was pretty funny and kind of spot on, especially because I've been shadow banned the past few days on TikTok and I didn't know that. I thought it was real. I don't know. Sometimes I I haven't actually smoked on screen on TikTok, but I have had smoke. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. Or if it's just something random. I don't know. I really didn't think it was real. I thought it was just a thing because every video I'd ever seen, every video I had ever seen that mentioned shadow banning was viral. So it didn't make sense. Are you still there with me? I think that it cut out.
I'm. Oh, I think I'm stuck. Can you hear me though?
I hear you fine. Maybe I should try refresh.
Yeah, hold on.
I'll refresh.
I'll hit refresh. Okay, there you go. I'm unstuck.
Okay, good. I was gonna say if I hit refresh, I don't know if it's gonna end us.
Yeah, you hit refresh. Probably the live stream will refresh itself.
Exactly, and then we don't really want that. So this is perfect. I'm glad I got figured out. But yeah, every time I had seen a video about shadow banning on TikTok, it was viral. So I was like, are they just making this up to go viral or something? But I'm like, no, it's real. I have 15 views on this video and I had gotten over 1,000 on a couple of other ones, which is still not that many, but I've been seeing my account grow. But it's okay. I think that it's one of those things that's it just kind of happens. And then I just keep creating stuff. And I realized too that I'm at a point where the numbers associated with my posts, it doesn't mean anything to me. I'm not I don't let it upset me. I used to, because I used to it was all ego though. I mean, I realize that now. When I was younger, I would be this person is just literally drawing a piece of ink. It has 20 million, thousand gajillion views. How come my thing doesn't, And I was comparing myself, but now since I don't, and I just am I thoroughly enjoy the process of creating and documenting life and looking at life through my lens and sharing that with people. Even if no one responds to it, it doesn't matter because it's me doing it for the sake of my own happiness. And I think that experiencing a shadow ban is kind of a great thing to experience, actually. I mean, I'm such the optimist. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole social media spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. And that's true because short of Twitch, I'm pretty active on lots of channels and have been pushing myself to get active on all those channels so that I could see a full spectrum of everything and understand. The thing is, if I'm gonna do what I do, fly by the seat of my skirt or whatever, I have to business wise, I mean, and freelancing and stuff like that. I have to do the best I can to share. Yeah. And so
you should also do this, Karina. You should do this. Go live on Reddit broadcasting.
Yeah.
From the app, and mention some social channel of yours in the title. And that will probably bring some very interested fans to that particular social.
That's a great idea. And yeah, I really appreciate like any input and suggestions because I'm always about just growing. And Teresa, I'm glad, I'm grateful for that because I have I don't know if you saw Jacob say I have a goal for 1,000 followers on TikTok, so I can start going live on there too. Because that's where the real, once you start going live on TikTok, that's where real organic reach happens because the algorithm will put people in my live that haven't like seen my content maybe on their feed, but just because I'm live, it wants them to go in a live studio. So it just puts that up at the top of their notifications. And you have to have 1,000 followers to be able to go live. So I also love your energy and support, Teresa. Thank you for being willing to share my TikTok with other TikTokers or whatever. But
I can't do anything about TikTok. Otherwise, I would have also kind of gotten you there because it got banned in India since June.
I know. I remember I was following that really closely. It's fascinating. Do you want to talk about that? That would be interesting.
Yeah, why not?
Cool.
Why not?
So what, from your perspective, why that happened? I have an idea, but I want to hear it from you because you're the one that's like.
From my perspective, two things happened. Primarily, this is how geopolitical conflicts play off very directly, and then sometimes they play off very passive aggressively. So I think and TikTok wasn't the only app that was banned. There were many other apps that were banned. And of course, Asians are very good at what in India is referred to as jugaad. Jugaad is a quick fix. So even without the main thing, we will find something that does what the main thing does. So Instagram Reels came at the same time TikTok was banned. So many people that were very active on TikTok who lost out on all that TikTok revenue found place on Instagram Reel. Right. And Reliance Jio, that is Mukesh Ambani's company, like an arm of his companies, telecom companies, also launched a very TikTok-esque app. You can't even call it a product that was inspired by TikTok. It's like TikTok too.
It's toxic. It's toxic. They might as well. That would be like I don't know if you know, but like in New York on the street they sell like handbags that are like
under
like
the bridge
or something like that instead of Chanel or like stupid, just like add an extra Louis Vuitton instead of Louis Vuitton. Like, like we know it's not real, but we don't care. It's like it's just the next best thing. It's the knockoff version or whatever. What did you say it was called? The like.
I'll find out because I have no idea. Hold on.
Oh no! You said a colloquial term that was like the thing that's coming to mind. Jugaad. See, what comes to mind for me and with my Southern background is like just jerry rig it. Like I don't know what that actually really means, but that's kind of similar, but not exactly the same kind of thing.
Yeah, no, not really jerry rigging because jugaad is such a massive term. It's when people find a way to get something done, no matter how weird the fix is. So the fix generally isn't always, what is possibly illegal, like creating a TikTok copy. It's also something like making a tripod out of chopsticks. That is jugaad. So weird stuff like that. Living the cheap life.
Understood. Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah. So you think obviously it was sort of like a government conflict there with TikTok was one player, and then another player was that what they just wanted to keep the app something like Indian based as the app that goes viral or that's being used? Do you think that had something to do with it?
No, I think it was mostly about politics
Yeah.
because again, it was based in China, and
Mm-hmm.
India has had a problem with China ever since we have had independence because we literally had to do Pokhran 1 and 2. This is nuclear tests that were done in Rajasthan to keep China out of India, which it was literally used as a kind of a a boom boom that we also have this. So please don't attack us. Like think before you attack us.
Yeah. The arms race, making sure that everyone can keep up.
It's and they keep changing the map. So one way to definitely get banned in Indian regions is to use a map of India in any of your videos. Chances are you will get a strike because Indian maps are so controversial because China keeps coming in or going out, keeps coming in and going out. India also does the same. So we have places in India like Gilgit and all these that are referred to as POJK in India, that is Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, and in Pakistan it is referred to as India occupied Jammu and Kashmir. So it's ridiculous. You put a map that shows even a little bit of this place gone. You'll probably receive something in the inbox going, you did fake news.
Fake news. Oh my gosh. No, I think that's, I mean, incredible, but not in a good way. Like, what? That's
Yes, in a good way.
I did not know that. Thank you for sharing that because how would I have known that? That's ridiculous.
Because you're American, actually, America has a big part to play in all this because
Mhm.
you guys want the base in Pakistan because it leads into Afghanistan. So anything India tries to do, it's vetoed by the state. And there was a way to fix this, but Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru came up with Hindi Chini Bhai Bhai, which translates to Indians and Chinese are brothers.
Mm.
So that did not solve itself. And it could have solved itself back then because China wasn't that strong. They were strong in a military sense of the word, but without the business, they wouldn't have
Right.
probably solved.
And now
So
they
it's,
have that for sure.
yeah.
And
Now
both
it's
of the
like,
US to thank for that. That's the funniest part to me that like the US is, I mean, it's even hard. If any day is a good day to make this point, it's that the US is not one thing. Like the
guys,
US.
not one. You guys have the military industrial complex, which itself is it's so many layers, right?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, not right there, but I just even mean in the sense of like when we refer to the US, we can't say that and think of one entity because we are divided. Like we are not united in any way. So there is, besides the name, but just because you like you slap the name United on something doesn't mean that like
Yeah, doesn't mean we're united. Oh my God, this is something I've said so many times in some of the geopolitical pieces I've worked on, which is history is very difficult to overcome. If you pretend, be the ostrich or be that looks at the eagle and goes, "Ooh, I will bury my head in the sand," that means the eagle isn't coming to eat me. That doesn't solve the problem.
exactly.
And we are not really taught history properly, are we? Objectively, history isn't taught in schools in a very honest way. We are taught history in this very kind of birds.
Colonized way, yes. Like our minds are colonized. Like, it's real. Like we have to, and on a spiritual level. Like at this point, the history of the world, not it's not. The borders are total figments of imagination and creation.
Yeah,
What
exactly.
it is, and that's one interesting thing of this time that I always try to hold on to is like this screen kind of breaks down the borders, but only metaphorically and only for a moment, because the way that our the construct of all of our societies and our race of humanity is very much a lie. And yeah, I mean, the more, and on all subject matter, like literally on when it comes to, like, we were talking about quantum physics yesterday, when it comes to quantum physics, when it comes to the arts, even, like, I'll share something with you that's been like something I'm trying to focus on, and is sort of a career opportunity that I'm trying to go after. And there's been like some frustration in my mind because you know, where do I even start with this? I'll start with like use that voice, Karina. All right, I'm going to. Basically, do you know who Gary Vaynerchuk is?
I think I did a video for him, right?
Yeah, I did do that. Yeah, you did that. Yeah. Thank you. You served as a reference for a job position that I was going after with him. And now there's a different opportunity that's come up, and I'm still going after it. I've just found, like, pursuing opportunities that he and his companies have presented, like, has helped me grow so much, whether I get the opportunity or not, you know? And so I'll start with a little bit of an anecdote. He is a person that doesn't like really read. Remember, I had you do a video edit instead of like writing. I saw he had posted a book that he was reading though, and it's called Boom, like something like Mega Dealers. I have it right here. You're gonna hate the first page of this, just like I did.
That's okay.
Boom, Mad Money, Mega Dealers, and the Rise of Contemporary Art. So, like, my interest in this book is pretty obvious because this is
contemporary art.
Exactly. And he doesn't read, but he tweeted a picture of him with this book a few months back, and I was like going on Amazon, ordering that book immediately so I can read what he's reading. And this is the opening, literally the first page, like, of the introduction. I haven't read beyond this page just because maybe you'll understand why once I read it. Contemporary art is a hard subject to get your arms around these days. Artists rise and sometimes fall in a few years. Some do work that is clearly gorgeous. Others make off-putting and head-scratching, shocking, or even viscerally appalling work. There are many books, magazines, and bless you. Many books, magazines, journals, blogs that debate the relative merits of contemporary artists and the lasting value of their work. That is not the purpose of this book. I have happily yielded to that task to curators and critics. In the pages that follow, I have looked instead for the story of how the market for contemporary art evolved from rather modest and uncertain beginnings in the 1940s to become a wildly unpredictable financial roller coaster in the present, with global reach, capable of making and moving vast fortunes, and with the lightest regulatory touch of any financial market in the world. Perhaps, inevitably, such an environment has attracted a vivid cast of characters, some with aristocratic fortunes behind them, others utterly self-made. It mixes European hauteur with American moxie. It is a space where women have had, if not an absolute equal footing to the men, then a crucial role in the lives and characters of some artists, and have been innovators and trailblazers to a degree unseen in any other comparable business environment. Perhaps Peggy Guggenheim's presence at the creation of the contemporary art story ensured it would never be an all-boys club story. My hope is that the readers will enjoy the book, not only for glimpses of some of the most memorable works in the half century, but for stories of men and women who toiled over them, yada, yada, yada. First of all, that's just not the truth. Like,
yeah, exactly. Women artists and men artists or male artists having the same, that's I think that's an absurd claim to make.
I literally wrote at the top bogus because, and you know what? It's stupid because I literally wasn't able to read further than that just because
Yeah, I understand. You
I,
probably face the biases as a female creator yourself.
yeah,
That
I
probably,
felt it exactly, and like it literally. And here's the thing: to know that this is the one book that that man bought and is reading. He doesn't like to read. He like has said that, and this is the book that he has decided to read. And his intentions might be really great, and it's not any judgment against him. It's just that knowing that and knowing how much I look up to him, like literally made my heart sink. And knowing what I know about the art market, and knowing that, like knowing the statistics, like literally reading the Art Basel and UBS global art market report, global, literally 1 woman artist to every 15 male artists are represented in galleries today. Like this is the 2018 report. But like 2018, dude, that was 2 years ago.
how radically would it improve in 2 years? Almost 3 years,
Exactly.
I think.
And if it has, then
It's
that's
not
great.
possible.
But I don't think that that's the case, especially considering I watched the mid-year report, like the second quarter report of the Art Basel UBS report, and they have a whole section that just studies gender in the art world. Because literally, if this was true, if this was true, 1940s, first of all, women were considered housewives in America. So to say that one woman, Peggy Guggenheim, who is the height of class and white society in elite New York City, who has a museum named after her, to say that she's the reason why it won't all be an all boys club is just like stupid. She's not the patron saint of all women, and she definitely hasn't helped all women. I saw Hilma af Klimt's show in the Guggenheim, and she's a woman. So it's not completely untrue of a statement. And the thing is, like, I would love for this premise of this book to be true. Like, I don't get off on my own oppression. Like, it's not like something that I'm like, you're wrong because of this. What was me? No, like, I would love for that to be true. It's just that it's not. And so to have an entire book with that, like, why did he choose for it says author's note? Like, why would he make the choice to have one page and not be the message? Like, I just don't understand. And so kind of cutting back to like,
I do why he did that. It's very simple. So I'm not a Gary Vaynerchuk fan. I don't follow him on any social media platforms because he is without a doubt one of the worst in my experience social media influencers. He has
really?
first of course, he has started this fetishization of hustle. Okay, very young influential people listen to this. Very young people listen to this. Hustle, 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 right? And they are like, oh, if I do this, I can probably become what Gary Vee has become. And he fails to mention so many facts that led up to his success. He only mentions the nice, clicky stuff, the stuff that appeals to your fancies, the stuff that makes you go, yeah, it's something that everybody can get, and not something that you need connections, you need to have proper networking abilities, all of that, to kind of get to where you are as a media empire. Secondly, he is proud of some very kind of problematic habits. Uh, I don't read being one of them. Again, it's okay to not read, it's not compulsory to read. When you have social influence and you say this, I don't read books, you know what that does? It empowers little lazy kids to come, Gary Vee doesn't read and see where he is. They won't see Elon Musk reads a lot or Bill Gates reads a lot. Look at where they are. It's like that. And
Someone said Gary Vee was born on third base and he thinks he hit a triple. You guys, I'm sorry, I have to disagree because
I'm not done. The worst thing
yeah,
that Gary does is labels. He uses labels like a pro. Okay, so this is the worst thing that he does. And what I mean by that is he'll use gender, race, financial background. Like, no, man, people are so much more than the labels they represent. You can't just pick those labels and create these videos that he is doing exactly what the likes of Jordan Peterson also do, which is use labels to kind of push a message. It could be a positive message, it could be a negative message, it could be no message, which is generally what I find to be the case. His message is hustle and it will come to you. Have faith and it will come to you. That's not revolutionary advice. Literally everybody in India says this to each other, which is work hard, success will come to you. Okay? So personally, I don't see the hype and the charm. But again, yeah, the guy is charming. He has this way of speaking to people, which is to me uh, a pattern that I have seen in a lot of people who start cults. So I'm not a fan at all. I appreciate the fact that he so relentlessly creates content and he has inspired so many people to create content. But the way he goes about it is so obnoxious. Oh my god, he's literally everywhere. The fact that I'm
I
talking
really
about it
believe.
right now, I'm going to get ads everywhere for a week.
But here's the thing, like, I really hear everything you're saying and respect every opinion that you just put forward. And some of it I think is true, and some of it I think that I've spent a lot of time with his content, and I see the first impression of that. But here's the thing, it's like, okay, on being everywhere, like, I'm on every social platform and
No, but you don't bombard your people with
But I
ads,
will.
right? The ad targeting is what I'm talking about, not.
No, I know, but like I will get to a point where I'm paying for lately AI for AI to literally like put out a large quantity amount of content of my content to try to engage. And like it's gonna be a lot of content, and it might be too much content for some people, and if they unfollow me for that reason, then that's fine, because
That's their loss.
then
Yeah,
that's
see, this unfollow trend is something that's so stupid. Like, I don't like your content, so unfollow. Okay, bye. You know?
Exactly. But the thing in still about Gary Vee is that, like, and I don't know this person, so it's not like I have any vested interest in like convincing anyone. It's just that, like, I could see why you would think that, and I don't see that, because in listening to him more and more, he talks about not reading books because he literally just doesn't. Like, he did not do well in formal schooling. His experience in life has taught him more, and that's his personal experience. He is vocal about not pushing traditional institutions of education because of the reasons why we said before, that they have like literally lied to us. And just as much as he pushes hustle, he pushes empathy, like he pushes kindness and
It does, but Irina, that's he's at a level that is so beyond the level where he began. So when he was in this business,
when he
industries were expanding. Look at the number of industries that existed around internet content marketing. When his company was launched, the scenario right now. So you have young people who, of course, like, it's not his fault that people only follow his advice, right? So my opinion is definitely biased on that regard, which is I've seen some people absolutely blow their life apart based on stuff that he recommends, and I know some internal ghostwriter conversations that have happened. People that have worked for him that have horror stories to share among, among the, you could say, shadows, something like that. And to me, it's like when you say something and then you go and do something that kind of does this to people. I probably won't support that kind of content. So that's why I stopped following him and stuff like that. No blocking, nothing like that. As I said, more power to him and more power to the kind of content he creates. However, I'm not a fan because he can create whatever he wants, and yet somehow people like him, Mark Manson, they have made this market out of using emotions and using tags. I really hate that. I really, really hate, dislike actually, not hate, labeling things with a passion, because I think the moment you start putting people in labels, when you go, okay, I'm like this, or I'm like that, or I'm like this, uh, that's such a, that's
The thing is,
such
my
negative way to do things.
I definitely hate that too. Like I'm a person that I wish there was a world that we just didn't exist with labels and that we could just
Mhm.
kind of be like um willy-nilly. And the thing is that I guess let me say I wouldn't know I don't know if I would consider myself I hate the word fan, but like let me tell you why I am drawn to him and why I continue to pursue professional opportunities with like his subsidiary companies because it's very relevant like to my growth at this point in time, and I think it's important to like share those kinds of things. And first of all, this comment also I want to address, like I don't really think that this comment is true because of listening to his actual like background growing up, but I mean he's from Belarus and came here.
But I'm talking about China. The background that he mentions and the background that actually exists don't match. So that's something you look up on your own, because it's to me this is it's the as I said, it's a page out of people that start cults. Okay, they will tell you that everything you know about certain thing is wrong. Then they will kind of dissociate you from the atmosphere you surround yourself with. Then they will tell you, oh, I have the answer to your problems. It's like, okay, we get it, but no, thank you. So, for me, it's a bias. I admit it openly. For me, it's a bias. I don't like the way he does business. I'll say that for people in India that are following his content strategies as well. We have Vaibhav Sisinti. His website, no, sorry, his LinkedIn post has been limited seats only for 2 years now. Okay, and that strategy is a page out of Gary Vee's book, playbook. These young marketers, they are looking at this and they are kind of propagating these marketing strategies that make a lot of money. Without a doubt, these strategies will make you the king. But at what cost? you know so from an ethical point of view, as you touched upon that AI thing, the moment you activate that, you are actively violating people's privacy, because okay personal conversations, and just the fact that certain keywords were uttered, the ad model is going to target this person with your content.
The thing is though, and I hate this, and I have had ethical debates within my own self for a long time about this specific thing because I went to school with and got my degree in entrepreneurship and innovation, and so or my minor degree, excuse me. And so like these are things that come up a lot, and like being one of the only females in those rooms of like engineering entrepreneur people, like and having conversations around technology and where it's developing and the move and the way it's moving toward, and our data privacy and our lack of privacy and the way that it's used in marketing and all of that stuff is like and just like even in capitalism in general, it's this debate that I have had in my mind a lot, and it's like something that always comes up is like, just because we can do it, should we? And the answer to me is an obvious no. Not all of the time should we develop something just because we can. But the thing is that like it's being used, and it's already been being used against us by entities that are far grander and more institutionalized than us for a long time. Like facial recognition is not new, and like it has been around and being used and deployed by the US government since like the early 80s. And now like my phone unlocks, and yeah, like I had TikTok on my desktop, and part of me is like, are they looking at me through my webcam right now? You know, like I really think about
Yeah, because if you look at the data source code, okay, if you open the code file, and this is why Facebook is going railing against Apple right now, because Apple is doing the little orange and green light on the top. The moment you open Facebook's app, any of the apps run by Facebook, those lights go on, meaning without our permission, our microphones are being switched on. So is our camera. Whether somebody is watching it or not is not the question. But let's face it, lobbying is going to ensure that data privacy is not going to be a human right, like
it's
ever.
not. It's
Because
not.
these companies are going to lose so much money if that
That's
happens.
the thing, Gennady. That's the whole thing for me. And in this debate is like, it's not, and it already isn't. And because of that, there's a cool technology, lately AI, and it could help me extrapolate my pillar content and make smaller content, which will save me hours and hours in a day, which will give me more freedom. And I'm just a one-woman show, so why shouldn't I? You know, I'm not saying you're saying I shouldn't use that technology, but the
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
yeah, and like me, I know that's the whole
It's a slippery.
thing. It's
In
just
my
that
opinion, it's a slippery slope.
wait, what did you say?
I said it's a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope because that's generally how these things begin. You know, it's
It's hard
there's
because that's not how they begin. It's already begun and it's out of my control. It's just a
no.
question.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking
No,
about
I know. I mean,
the
our
fact that
control.
these things exist and they are specifically made with this thing in mind. Okay, I'll kind of use another example for this. Okay, so in India we have this thing called matrimonial platforms, and these matrimonial platforms are specifically there for arranged marriages. Okay, and these platforms have levels. So it's like if you join it for free, you can see the profiles, but you won't be able to see the phone numbers or way to contact these people. Then you can buy like silver and platinum and gold and all these packages. And then there's the VIP package. Okay, and they tell you that only the premier profiles are put in the VIP package, which is like the best job prospects, the best.
Literally ranking. It's the caste system digitalized.
Yeah, something like that. And then I went, okay, what is your quota? Like, how do you do this? Because my parents are obsessed with getting me married. So I indulge them sometimes. And I picked up this call the first and the last time. So she was like, oh, you have to pay the fee. And then that's it. We will change your profile a little bit, meaning they will insert lies in it. They will whitewash my photo. Okay. I know, right? It's a thing. So, and that would make me a premium profile. So, what if they're admitting this to me that they're doing these things?
Like that's the service.
Obviously, they have done these things with the other profiles as well, right? So the same kind of metaphor applies to these as well, which is that I love technology. I am probably going to be one of the first people that is going to go AI. You can use me. You have full permission, you know. But the thing is, technology is very young, and what these companies are very good at is marketing us things we don't need. And you know, they show us shadow stats and stuff. I know this because I work with a lot of product companies in the VR space, and what they actually create as a product and what actually comes in the market. Okay. And what is written as what the product does. It's so different. So they are very good at creating this hype
Yeah.
around products. So smaller
I know.
creators.
I got the Oculus Quest 2 for Christmas because I'm really excited to start using Tilt Brush and
Oh, that would be amazing though. It would be great to see you
I
create content using that.
I'm gonna do mixed reality on my live stream. That's one of the reasons why I've been starting to get it now up and like consistently because and you're right, I would probably do a kill on Reddit and Twitch and stuff with that. But yeah, you just imagine me with my Oculus right here, like, and you can see me in reality and you can see the drawing.
Yeah.
I've used it before. I have some like background in it and I'm familiar with the tech, so I'm really excited. But like when that ad comes on that YouTube, they've been targeting me since the beginning because I have an Oculus account since 2018 and not many people used it in 2018 really. And so yeah, they've targeted me, and on YouTube I'd be like over here and I'd hear the ad and it'd be like my finger is on the button and I'm like literally like I would stop what I was doing to be like, take my brain cells, like I don't care. Take all of it. Like I'll willingly hand over anything to be able to draw in virtual reality. It's kind of insane. So it's like I know these things are really difficult, and you know what it is it's just we all have to decide like as individuals the balance that we are willing to make for ourselves because it's so difficult. Like part of me wants to just like own a bunch of land in the middle of nowhere and like not even have internet access and just like live like on the land, and then part of me wants a penthouse in New York City. Like those are two things.
Of course, like you want to experience life to the fullest. You don't just want one thing. For that you need the moolah. You need it.
Yeah, and it's difficult, and all of those things are controversial. And you know, one thing I will say is that like even in because Darlene had said Garyvee's pretty controversial, and still like this is a real opportunity that I'm pursuing right now. You know, like that's what
this is something I need to clarify. I am not opposed to you taking up this because it's a great content platform to work on. If I get the opportunity to work for him, hell, I'll also work for him. Yeah. Because why not? That is somebody who's influential in the content sphere.
There's another level to it that you're probably going to be like pissed off about, which I also am, but this is the reality of the situation. And I feel called, like I feel like I'm the person that they need because like they're creating a new subsidiary. It's called 137 PM. And it's basically all things like culture, innovation, tech, and then things that are more like in sports and gaming and stuff like that. And they are branding it currently as a men's lifestyle brand. And I know. And I'm just like, why? Was there a need? Is there a lack for that? Like, is there, what problem does that solve? Is there no men's
what problem that solves?
So
tax evasion.
Here. This is my line of questioning. Why is it a men's lifestyle brand? And then and then I'm just like, okay. But I'm listening because I really want to know the answer to that. But then my follow-up question to that is, what's the name of the women's lifestyle brand?
And they have no answer?
We don't have one. And that's the point, is that even looking on, here's the thing. All that it does in branding it a men's lifestyle brand is it alienates the women who were initially interested in the content you were putting out. And they're there because I know that they're there because I'm one of them. And I was in the chat and I was on the stream whenever Bo Templin said that it's a men's lifestyle brand, but he doesn't know why they call it that because he thinks that it could be more than that. Literally, he's the one saying that on the stream. And I'm like, boo, why is it men's lifestyle? And then
you literally own the thing, dude. Why are you acting as if
wait. And then you see the number of people on the screen in the live chat go down. So they are literally not even aware. They don't even realize. And that's why they need me. doing like something like head of content for that brand is that they don't realize that what they're doing is they are taking all of the women who are interested, want to be a part of this culture, who love gaming, who love sports cards, who are better at gaming and sports cards than just men, like who are alienated in the realms of sports card for being women interested in sports cards, who are alienated in the realm of gaming on their platforms gaming for being women in the gaming realm. And if we were going to separate the sexes for a lifestyle brand in 2021 for all of these cultural things, then it really should be for women, because that would be the opportunity in business, because there isn't one for that. But I'm a woman and I don't want that, because why can't we just make it a lifestyle brand?
Exactly. People can make their choice. Why is this obsession with pointlessly gendering things? Like, it's okay, women also use razors, just making it pink or blue.
Nail razor because they work better and they cost me less money and they last me longer. I don't give a shit. That's a cultural trend. That's a real thing. I don't buy
I had no idea that this is a thing, but courtesy of Reddit, and there is this subreddit called Pointlessly Gendered. People literally are showing the same product, but because it is branded towards females, it's expensive.
It's called the pink tax. It's
it's ridiculous. I thought it's just one of those things that these late night talk show hosts use to, kind of create some polarization, make angry people comment like everyone is equal, all of that. But no, it's a very real phenomena, because these are real people posting real photos on an entirely crowdsourced content platform.
Yeah.
So
like
to me as an Indian, this is very weird, because for all, as backward as we see, we don't have these problems. As in, we don't have brands that are actively separating themselves as we are a men's only brand or we are a woman's only brand. It's like we are a brand. Buy if you have money.
And then you could make the argument, like, to offer a concession here. You could make the argument that that's just your target audience, or that's just the demographic that you're going after. But the thing is that is actually a false logic. It's a spiral that spins within itself, because you are targeting that demographic because, and specifically for this brand, I'm holding accountable. 1:37 p.m. is a culture brand. So if the culture is the thing that you are selling, you are creating the culture that you didn't create the culture that alienates women or separates men and women. You're selling it to men because it's the culture, but it's the culture because it's only being sold to men. So this is the problem. And this is the thing that I'm like, in terms of what they are creating, they need like I agree. My heart like literally sank whenever I saw Gary reading this book for the same reason, and my heart sank when they said it was a men's lifestyle brand, because all I hear as a woman whenever I hear those words is men only. And for the premise of a book to be it will never be an all boys club story, and in 2021 we're emerging and creating an all men's brand, that's bogus. And I respect Gary Vee. I really do, because I do believe the moment that I'm face to face with him and I say these things to him, I don't think that he would get off of a call like that and not hear me and ignore what I'm saying and not make actual change. The thing is that, like, I really do believe in the good in people. And I do believe that people are only capable of working with the tools that they actually have. So like he doesn't have the knowledge or experiential knowledge that like you and I would have as women. And our experiences are totally different too, being on opposite sides of the world and cultures. But like, just the experience isn't there, so he just may not know. What I do respect him is his number 2. He named number 2 at the company is Claude Silver, and she is what they call the chief heart officer. And what she's in charge of is all things morale, all things internal, all things people, and making sure that every single person at that company feels like they have a purpose there, because they do. And so that to me, she's the first person in a C-suite to ever hold a CHO title, a heart officer. What is that? They invented that. And so I see that. And whenever we're talking about these debates of like, how far do we want to go with technology or capitalism before it feels like it's too much and we're taking advantage of a system that takes advantage of others? Well, I see corporations, and that his corporation is the only one I've ever seen that ever has prioritized heart as a business model, ethical pillar and foundational thing that's a part of it. And so my thing is like having the being the person I am. Like, we're talking about mega dealers and the rise of contemporary art. This is me. This is my shit. This is my DNA. Like, this is what I'm here to do. And it's what I would do on St. George Island, Florida, with nobody watching. And it's what I would do in Manhattan also. Like, that's who I am. And because of that, if he has sway in the market, which he does, and that's what he wants the pillar of his company to be, I'm attracted to that as an opportunity for me. And I think that they need me, because if they're going to talk about heart and have that be something that's foundational, and then continue to evolve the company in ways that isolate and alienate women, I'm just not cool with that. I'm not here for it. And we're talking about accountability here. Like, I think that being brutally honest is the kindest thing that a person can do. And so like the chance that I may be able to sit down, and another thing is, like, I don't think I was blessed with these gifts of seeing this, understanding this, and being able to have the strategy and the eloquence to back it up, to do something that actually provides value to all kinds of people of all walks of life, which I do at the core believe that that's Gary Vaynerchuk's goal and vision overall. I think he just doesn't know everything about everything, and I think he'd be the first person to admit that. But that's why you need people like me, or me.
Right.
You need me.
Yeah.
So I just want to drive that home, because I know you care about me, and I care about you, and this is something that's really recent and an opportunity I'm actively pursuing. And I have felt some of the things that you've said too, particularly in feeling a little bit alienated by the branding, like kind of the question of like, why should I pursue this if I'm being actively excluded from it?
That's because what he's putting out right now is selling. Okay, so that is a personal problem. This is why I mentioned that I have an issue. It's a personal bias. It's not on the man. Whatever he's doing, it sells products, not just for him, but products that he recommends. If you go to these websites, this is something that not a lot of people know, but all professional websites have certain pages. You will have the error 404 page, you will have the privacy policy page, you'll have the terms of service and terms of condition page. These pages are not publicly shown. You have to actively look those up.
Right.
And they will only show up when you make the wrong clicks, or when you're specifically looking at these things as a weird content person. So, if you look at the terms of services and the privacy policy statements made by Vaynerchuk Media, they have made it practically impossible to sue them for affiliate marketing, even when they are making false claims. Because, and again, if the legal system allows it, why should they not take advantage of the legal system? Then the question is, when you talk about creating a human brand, should you really make these choices, you know? So personally, I am not a fan of the branding and the company, but professionally, of course, professionally speaking, and from an analytical standpoint, they have done something that nobody have, which is they have created a business model around emotion.
Yeah.
Okay, if you look at the products, and if you look at the product reviews that are placed online, the reviews are product is not bad, product is not good, not bad, but I like using it. You know what I mean? It's like you feel something
Yeah.
when you use the product. And from a branding standpoint, that is victory.
From a professional standpoint is also something that I'm really drawn to with that, because I have extremely high emotional intelligence. So like that being something about me that I know and have always known, I see an opportunity professionally where that not only can help really propel me, but really like won't hold me back, because every other professional, I've always thought that emotions were my weakness. Well, I didn't actually think that. I never actually thought that. Other people made me try to believe that about myself. But my stubborn nature was like, no, I know that I healed and grew from being told that, but like that's the idea, is that emotions will hold us back. And now we're seeing that moving forward in this future world that we have emerged into this fifth dimension of, like, I do believe that or I hope in my heart at least, that like empathy and kindness and these pillars of emotion, of powerful emotion, are things that we actually are going to have to operate moving forward. And part of that is going to be because like of equity and women being a part of the conversation, and people of color being not just a part of the conversation, the decision makers. We will see the I want that fairy tale message of the level playing field to be true. And I think that if it's ever going to be true, it has to be the foundation of the no-brainer society. Like, we don't treat people like shit based off of the labels and whatnot. But we can't change the fact that they exist. But if we can use them, I feel like if we're going to use labels for anything, I would rather someone slap on the word kindness or grateful, like on a hoodie, and sell that, than I would someone to put on, Supreme. Like,
Of course.
because Supreme.
But again, it comes to this, right? That you are, I have to stop saying you. Whether it is Supreme or whether it is kindness, if the product is being made at 20, say it's been made for $20 because it's made using the best of products in the market. It is sourced ethically. Everything is done very extremely legally. But because of certain aspects, the product is put at this outrageous selling point.
Yeah.
Like, moving forward, again, that's okay. I understand that capitalism is good and that is what has caused so much success for certain countries that are definitely dominating the market right now.
Mm-hmm.
But the question to ask, like, because see, moving forward, we will be the ones who will be helping make these decisions, right? Because at some point, these old people are going to die.
Yeah, the white men that are, no, so I love that truth. Yes, the white men who are just like, oh, this is a man's game, like, get out of here, but wiggle your butt when you walk away, that kind of thing. And we will take their offices, and I will look great in the stilettos that I'm wearing, or barefoot, whatever I decide,
Yeah. So my thing is, if we do the same things that we did, right, that they are doing, just we are changing the language around the way they say it. So instead of actually saying that, which is, this is a man's job, go away, what they will say is, why not use a team to help you complete this instead? It's technically the same thing. So what I see as an objective viewer of things, as somebody who has nothing to gain or lose from seeing the way that these companies talk about certain things, is they are just making it sound polite. They are continuing the same behavior, in the sense that they're not making any changes. They're just changing the language around these very problematic behaviors. Like, in Pride Month, they will have like those Pride flags plastered everywhere, and yet people will not be allowed to take leave because they have their transgender surgery or the hormones are creating some problems for them. They need to take a leave. Like, things, little things that actually show you what company policy is.
Mhm.
So what's the point of actually pretending that you care? It's like at least the old white people
Yes,
had enough
optical,
integrity to be racist, sexist, all of these things to your face. And now people hide behind this polite language. It's ridiculous to see as somebody who's watching it from outside, having nothing to do with it. Like, did you say the same thing just using like fancy, fluffy language? You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. I do know what you
Of
mean.
course, because you probably face so much passive aggression this way in these rooms that you've been the only woman in. It's probably very debilitating at times to sit in those rooms.
At times. And yet somehow I'm in the rooms,
Yes,
and
that's the thing that matters.
and I'm in the and that's but the thing is that one thing that I think I am not a stranger to. I just made a TikTok about this before we got on our call. White women have been active in our own demise and the demise of especially women of color. Like 55% of white women voted for Trump in the past election. Like,
Yeah, that was a shocker. Like, because it's like
not
the dude literally talking about these awful things. How can you vote for him?
it
But
was
I am
not,
actually friends with people who are Trump supporters, and I'm like, you're such a nice, objective person. But then when it comes to Trump, it's like, oh my God, what happens to you? But then it's like,
naughty. It goes really deep. Like, what I always say is that patriarchy has no gender. And it's true. And that this is
yeah,
what I believe in. I really believe in 1:37 p.m. I really do believe. I want to believe. I really do. And the reason why is that I don't think that I know that patriarchy has no gender, which means that there are white women or women of any color, because skin folks are not necessarily kinfolk either. Is
of
something
course,
that,
Asians are some of the most racist people you will meet. We'll openly go and call people that your eyes are too small, your eyes are too black, your
right.
skin
I
is
mean, we
too
were
brown,
just talking about the
like this.
app whitewashing you to make you more attractive, and of course, like even within India, like North Indian and South Indians, like it's a whole thing. Colorism is real, and
Of
these things
course.
are real. Colorism is real, and white women have been active in upholding patriarchy for a long time, and I'm not a stranger to those things. My what I know is that when I'm in those rooms, I am not silent on these issues, and that's why I need to be in the room. Like,
Yeah.
it's just so simple as that. And so it's like, I don't know, even if you see this is the beautiful thing in like pursuing an opportunity like this is it opens up these conversations that are like we are those bosses, like we are those women who are at the beginning of becoming something that's very great and powerful. And like I am one of the 45% of white women in this country that did not vote for Donald Trump. And looking at even in the US, the Equal Rights Amendment and feminism and the way that it evolved, like Phyllis Schlafly is the white woman who was seeking to gain political control and have her name out there in the conservative realm for foreign policy and defense. And she was a homemaker and married to a lawyer. And during the time that the feminist movement began, with Betty Friedan writing The Feminine Mystique, also other women were becoming active feminists. And that would be considered like the first wave of feminism in America. And then people like Gloria Steinem, who became like the feminist icon with Miss Magazine, and others who are not as notably known, like Flo Kennedy, who wrote, who was a lawyer, a Black woman who wrote something called Abortion Rap, and was all about abortion, and advocating for women's rights, and many other women too who were of color that like don't get talked about as much. For example, like Shirley Chisholm, who literally ran for president. And it was a Black woman, the first Black woman to ever do that. You know, those things were all happening at the same time. And the women who I mentioned after Phyllis Schlafly all were fighting for equal rights amendment to pass that would give women like equal rights. Basically, it's a pretty straightforward like equal rights amendment, right? And it talked about equal pay and not just having women. Oh my gosh. Not just having women be homemakers, basically giving them right to work and everything like that. And Phyllis Schlafly made it so the Equal Rights Amendment did not pass. It didn't go through.
And she's very smug about it. Like she looked very happy when interacting with triggered reporters, so to speak. Because I've seen her videos. I've seen, and there's this other video where her husband says something like, "I know how to control my woman" or something, and she's on the stage, and you can see it on her face. Like she's very proud of the fact that her husband said that. I was like, "What the hell?"
And she would say, "Thank you, my husband, for letting me be here tonight." And then she would be like, I love saying that because the libbers and feminists hate it the most. But here's the thing is that even on the liberal side, Betty Friedan, who wrote the book on feminism, talked about the Lavender Menace, which was gay women and lesbians. And how that wasn't their cause, that they shouldn't fight for that. And you know, they actively.
Dude, I say this so many times. No, I've made posts on LinkedIn about this. Don't use weasel grammar and weasel vocabulary, because literally, it's like people feel so much shame while saying something like poor children. They will say something like children of the lesser gods. No, when you say that, you kind of demean who they are as people. Mention it. They are poor, or be very obvious in excluding an entire section of women just based on their sexuality and calling them lavender makes it okay. Like no, that's I hate that weasel vocabulary and weasel grammar.
But you know, and that's the thing is like I'm a hopeful person. I think these things happen in waves and need to happen in waves. And like listening to the women who I do look up to, like I really look up to Gloria Steinem. I find a lot of similarities in her way of intersectional feminism. And the people I've learned the most from are women of color, like in my personal life and in studying feminism, like period. I look up to Gloria Steinem because I see myself in her, which is one of the reasons why like representation is so important, right? It's like we have to be able to see people that we can be like, oh, that's like me. And yeah, skin color sometimes does have to do with that, and gender sometimes has to do with that, and sexuality sometimes has to do with that. And like the labels are there because they're real, like they're parts of our identity. The thing is that we shouldn't use the labels to
only. The problem is the word only. You know, only labels, that's where you have a problem. Human beings with few labels, go for it. But when you take only labels and run with it, I think that's where the waters become murky. You know, it's like you are defined by labels and then that's it. So you'll probably not have something interesting to say. You'll probably go on the same rant again and again, which is what we are seeing a lot from, like in India, we have a version of Fox News. It's called Republic TV. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
They have the same thing to say about everybody, and they use these label weights because they can't make objective points, can they? To take someone down, you cannot have objective points, because generally when you're trying to take people down, you are driven by very maleficent intentions. You don't have good intentions when it comes to taking people down. And when taking people down is all you do for your job, 24/7, labels is all you got at the end of the day. Like, what would this one know? It's a this from a this area. Done. Job over. You've automatically created some image in someone's head, even if, even if it doesn't match reality.
Yeah. Damn. Whew. We've talked about a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah, exactly. And we still got one more live to do. The one where you show up on my LinkedIn live. I go live only on LinkedIn and YouTube for now.
Well, perfect. I can't wait to join you in our next conversation.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? I'm getting a little bit hungry over here.
Of course. Yeah, I also missed out on going out for the run thing. So it's like now I'll go and run.
Yes, run. I really appreciate you, Benani. Like, thank you so much for even entertaining some of the conversations that I brought up, and for bringing up the insight that you did. Because
I think you missed it, but I did a live with Miriam. That's someone you should have on, by the way. She's a self-love coach.
I love
based in the UK. Yeah. And we both talked about creepers online.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, we literally talked about the DPs and the VPs. That's what it's called. That we receive in our DMs on LinkedIn. And we didn't get banned. We didn't get shadow banned or any. I lost a few followers. That's okay. But nothing from the side of LinkedIn. So I think a lot of what we consider to be censorship is in the head. Platforms don't really censor content if you go about it doing it properly. If you just go profanity,
Yeah.
they'll probably go, yeah, I'm shutting you down.
Yeah.
But if you objectively talk about something, I think we won't get banned. So whatever conversation you want to ever have with me, I'm game. Because if we don't talk to each other, how will we understand each other's point of view?
Exactly.
And you know this way better than I do, which is in the realm of conversations is where ideas lie. So if you keep listening to other people and if you don't participate in the process, you're going to miss out on ideas that are probably just swimming in there. So, yeah, any conversations always game.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Oh, same here.
Wonderful. Well, good night.
Thank you for inviting me to your live.